Today's simply an information session. What we're going to do is obviously go through a bit of information about who we are, what we do, how we do it and why we do it, and then from there we're going to be able to get into exactly your position and go through a few strategies where we can help you get from where you are now to where you want to be as quickly as possible. First things first is the welcome pack. The welcome pack is very important. It gives the client a really good background on where you're coming from, the background and the success of the company over the past 6 years, and what you're about to go through them is very, very real, proven and tested. First section of the welcome pack is the About Us section. The About Us section goes through what we guarantee the client, how we guarantee the client, and the most important part of the About Us section is what we do in the community, giving them the sense that we give back to the community, and obviously we're a very, very good-natured firm. The next section there is what most lenders do business like taxi drivers. The general gist of this is obviously most lenders are there to pick up the client, they then drop the client off, much like a taxi driver, don't build much rapport during the journey and usually take one or two back streets and get an extra few kilometres out of the fare, and the reality is you'll probably never ever see that taxi driver again. Whereas what we do is more of a limousine type service. We pick the client up, we build the rapport, we have the relationship, we drop them off, we get them straight there, obviously with a bowl of bubbly in between, and once they are there, they're probably going to call us when they're ready for their next ride. What we guarantee these clients is the lowest total cost mortgage. That is very, very different from the lowest interest rate. I assume it with clients and say, I can do two things for you. I can get you a loan at 5.04% for 30 years, or I can get you a loan at 5.75% for 15 years. Now, which one would you like? I can do both of those, and 10 out of 10 choose, well, I'd like 5.75 for 15 years, because that means for 15 years I'm not going to be paying back the mortgage, and the probability of me owning this house as well as another house in that same time is very high. The next section there is 11 reasons why you'll be glad you got your home loan through Crown Lending as opposed to going directly through the bank. And what it does is this just differentiates us from the banks, why we're unique, why we're different, and once again why we do what we do and the benefits of that. The next section there are frequent asked questions about Crown, Alliance, and anything that they may want to know. In the offset, these clients are going to probably read this welcome pack after you've left, so it just answers a few questions that they may have after you leaving them. The next section we get into the newspaper articles and the media, and ideally this just proves to the clients that if it's in the media then obviously it must be true. So the first article there is about moving ahead. These are two clients of ours who in their first 3 months took $4,000 off their principal. He's an aircon refrigeration mechanic. He earns $58,000 per annum, single income. She's a stay-at-home mum, and $4,000 off their mortgage in the first 3 months. And as we both know, the average Australian takes $3,000 off their mortgage in 1 year. The next article we've got there is another client of ours who has taken well and truly over $14,000 off their principal in 6 months. Single income earner. He works for Rio Tinto on around about $90,000 per annum. He has 5 kids and is obviously a stay-at-home mother taking care of those 5 kids, but his is a sole income coming into the loan, and he's taken 14 grand off his mortgage in 6 months. Another article here just saying how we're helping clients pay less each and every month, and how we're actually showing them how to get out of debt in up to half the time. So they're paying less per month in repayments and they're out of debt in up to half the time. And then this final article here just shows us how we're helping clients in these tough economic times consolidate their debts, have one repayment, one debt, cleaning up their financial position so that they've got a nice clean slate and a very manageable debt position. Now we go through some client statements. It's one of those things where we'd like to show the clients exactly how our other clients are performing on the program. We're very transparent here, and what this does, it just highlights these are our existing clients, these are their actual home loan statements. We've obviously taken out a fair bit of their personal details for privacy reasons, but you can see the general gist of things. This first client took $10,700 off their principal in the first 3 months. $10,000 off their mortgage in the first 3 months. Remember, the average Australian does $3,000 off their mortgage in 12 months. This next client has taken around about $11,000 off their home loan in 12 months. Very, very impressive. These clients are in that position where they don't earn that much. Their debt level is obviously in the 300 mark, but to take $11,000 off in a 12-month period, they're running at a run rate around about 3 to 4 times the average Australian, which is great. This next page is very powerful. What it does is it goes through a sample of Australians who are all surveyed at the age of 25, and it followed them for 40 years through their working career. And what it does, it just breaks down how these results panned out. So the first group there, you've got 54, that's people at the age of 65 still depend on the pension or government assistance. Okay, so 54 out of 100 still require government assistance. The next 24 people have actually passed away, unfortunately. 12 are totally broke, means they're probably living under a bridge. And then from there, we've got 5 that are still working, obviously not having enough in superannuation to retire yet. We've got 4 more that are independent, that means they've got enough in superannuation to be able to retire comfortably, and only 1 is financially free. And that means they're not relying upon superannuation, they're not relying upon their government assistant pension, they are financially free in their own right. And our job is to try and get these clients to be that 1 in 100 that becomes financially free at the age of 65, and working with them on a monthly basis to ensure that we get them to the retirement age as quickly as we possibly can. This next page is once again very powerful. Runs through banks, their profits, how they operate, and why most of Australians are on these 30-year principal interest loans. As you'll see there, the average profit for the banks is well over $3.4 billion in profit each and every year. Now, I'm sure that these clients don't actually know exactly how much these banks are making, and I like to point out to the client how much profit is in each and every single one of their loans, and these banks are making well and truly over $3.4 billion. That's $3,400 million in profit each and every year. And we've just seen the CBA had a 20% profit increase in a recession. I mean, how does that work? So the first table down the bottom there, you'll see that in the first year, they've paid well and truly over $20,000 in repayments, and well under $3,000 actually come off their principal. So they paid 20 grand in repayments, and under $3,000 has come off their mortgage. Where'd the other 17, 18 grand go? Pure profit for the bank. And they make the most amount of profit in those first few years of a 30-year principal interest loan. This next page on the welcome pack just runs through the different types of loans that are available to clients out there in the market. You've got 4 major types of loan products. The first of all is a principal and interest style loan. These are the most common loans, they're the most profitable for the banks, and from there, how they basically work is